Hi, everyone. I am Valerie Reyes-Jimenez. I am the city organizer with Housing Works. And I stand before you today as a survivor. If you didn't know, Housing Works was born of ACT UP. We came out of the Housing Committee, and that was in 1990. And I walked through their doors in 1991. I want to thank Eric Sawyer, Jenny Schubert, Charles King, and Keith Kyler for opening those doors. And because they decided to do something about it instead of waiting for them to do something about it, I had somewhere to go, and I found people who cared. I've been living with HIV since 1981. I had an AIDS diagnosis in 1989. So yes, even women got AIDS back then at that time. And my son was 1. My daughter was 6, and now they're 38 and 43. So not only that, they told me I wasn't going to see my son turn 2, right? But I am a grandmother of a 23-year-old and a great-grandmother of a 9-month-old. So, in 1992, I took my first international trip with ACT UP, and I heard old-timer Alden McKean. He had been HIV positive for a handful of years, and he said that he was a long-term survivor. I had to ask what that meant, but once I learned what a long-term survivor was, I knew that that's what I wanted for myself. So just recently, on March 12th, I celebrated 61 years of life, right? Every birthday, I love birthdays, but I love mine especially, right? And every birthday feels like I'm saying a big fuck you to the virus, to all of my haters. So if you're my hater, I thank you very much. You help me stay here. So I will tell you, big fuck you to the government this year, right? So science has kept me alive. Medical advances have kept me alive. Medicaid kept me alive for decades. And your hope and your support have kept me alive. But budget cuts will not keep me alive or will keep any of you alive. War won't keep any of us alive. A government that doesn't give a damn about us and will not keep us alive. Right now, changes to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act are threatening health coverage for people living with HIV and those that are most vulnerable. H.R. 1 represents one of the largest cuts in U.S. history. An estimated 15 million people could be left uninsured. And that includes hundreds of thousands of people with the virus. And we know what that means. Interruptions in antiretroviral treatments, reduced access to PrEP, lower viral suppression rates, destabilized providers, rising costs, more lives at risk, more HIV deaths. And that ain't right. So these numbers are incredible. They're like, what? But look, $1 trillion cut to Medicaid over 10 years. Not a B, not an M, not a B, but a T, trillion. 7.5 million people will lose Medicaid. 10 to 11 million people will lose health insurance. 1.2 trillion spending cuts in Medicaid and SNAP. About 500 billion would it be Medicare cuts. So if you're getting older like me, guess what we got to look forward to? 150 billion defense spending increase. 375 billion. Listen, I don't want to, no more numbers. Y'all can all Google this. You can figure all this out. It's bad news, right? We've made so much progress, and we will not stand by and have it dismantled and taken away. But let me tell you something. My track record and your track record up until this point, up until this very moment, it's 100%. And it's 100% because we've survived every goddamn thing life has thrown at us so far, right? And this fight is not over. Many of us are older, I speak for myself, and have begun to pass the baton on. to our younger comrades. We need you to continue to mourn the dead and to fight like hell for the living. That's right. There is something spreading across this country, something really dangerous, something really sick. There is a cancer growing and it must be cut out before it metastasizes out of control. Period. The end. I was always told, be a good girl. You know, girls don't fight. Just, Well, guess what? I was also told that if you get bullied and you get hit and you don't hit back, you're a goddamn fool. And I was going to get my ass kicked at home, right? So I learned how to stand up and fight back. And that's what I've been doing. And that's what I'm going to keep on doing until I can't fight anymore. We are not going back to those dark days because we'll march, we'll fight, and I'll see all of y'all in the streets.